Welcome to the Dup Dive, your shortcut to being truly well informed. Today, we're heading off, virtually at least, to a place that really captures the imagination Morocco. You picture it right. Those amazing markets, the old cities, the Atlas Mountains, the Sahara, just incredible diversity. It's somewhere so many people dream of visiting. So, our mission today is pretty specific. We're not just going to list the best times to go to Morocco. We want to get into the why. What's really going on with the climate there that makes one season genuinely better than another for your trip. And all our insights, they're coming straight from the source material, excerpts from Asa o Ankojia Iltsin Welhala, Chapter 3.
So yeah, beyond just picking a date, what really makes the difference for that perfect Moroccan adventure? Let's unpack this.
Exactly. And I think what's really key for your planning, it isn't just knowing, say, the average temperature. It's understanding that Morocco's climate, well, it has some, let's say, surprising complexities. It goes way beyond just a simple number on a thermometer. And getting a grip on these factors, it's pretty essential for planning that ideal trip. And, avoiding any nasty weather surprises.
Yeah.
Making the most of it.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase. That golden window people talk about for visiting Morocco. What does our source say is the straight answer?
Well, the source is pretty clear on this one.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, the best times are definitely spring. So think mid-March through May, or the fall, September into October, and sometimes, even into November works well. These periods, they're the ones most often recommended, and, well, for good reason.
Right. And what is that reason? Why are spring and fall so ideal? The source contrasts it, doesn't it? It mentions avoiding the freezing temperatures and snow of winter, which I guess can happen in some parts later, and also avoiding the blazing heat of summer. So these shoulder seasons, they offer weather that's described as mild yet comfortable. Is that the main idea?
That's pretty much it. It's that sweet spot. You can actually wander through the souks or go hiking without, either freezing or constantly looking for shade. It just makes everything more enjoyable.
Okay, makes sense. Comfortable is key.
But here's something fascinating, and it's a really important point, depending on what you want from your trip. While those general best times cover most things, the source points out an exception: the seaside regions. It says they're actually accessible pretty much all year round.
Ah, okay. So if your main goal is the beach, like Agadir or Essaouira.
Exactly. If you're dreaming of the coast, you've got way more flexibility. You're not just limited to spring and fall. It gives you loads more choice if, your ideal Moroccan trip involves relaxing by the ocean.
That's really good to know, especially for planning maybe a winter sunbreak or something. But okay, to really get why spring and fall are generally best and why the coast is different, we need to dig into Morocco's actual climate mechanics, right? This is where it gets really interesting, I think. It's not just hot or cold.
Indeed. And a big part of the picture, especially for the northern coastal areas, places north of the Western Sahara, well, it's a classic Mediterranean climate.
Mediterranean climate. Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means you generally get two main seasons: winters that are warm-ish, but also quite rainy, relatively speaking,
Yeah.
and then summers that are, frankly, scorching and very, very dry. It's a really distinct pattern. Shapes everything.
Okay, so a rainy season. The source says that lasts from October to April, on average. Now, when I hear rainy season, I kind of picture, non-stop downpours, like tropical monsoon stuff. Is that what it's like in Morocco?
That's a great question. And actually, the source reveals something quite surprising that counters that image. It says, and I'm quoting loosely here, that although torrential downpours can cause deadly floods, which can happen, mind you, various elements work together to limit the country's rainfall.
Limit the rainfall, even during the rainy season. How does that work?
It's fascinating. There are these key factors that sort of conspire to keep Morocco drier than you might expect. First off, its location. Geographically, Morocco sits right on the southern edge. You could almost think of it as the fringe of the big storm track across the North Atlantic.
The storm track, like where the main weather systems travel.
Exactly. Meteorologists call it the mid-latitude frontal storm system. It brings a lot of Europe's rain. But Morocco often just catches the tail end of these systems. So the rain it does get is often lighter, and it noticeably decreases as you go further south.
Okay, so it's kind of on the edge of the action, getting less intense rain.
Precisely. Then there's a second factor. During that same rainy season, especially off the Atlantic coast, these big areas of high pressure often build up.
High pressure, like a block.
Yeah, you could picture it like an invisible shield. These high-pressure ridges, they literally push incoming storms northward, away from Morocco.
Ah, so they steer the rain away.
They often do. And if these ridges stick around for a long time, Well, that's when you can get drought conditions because the expected rain just doesn't arrive. It's a major factor.
Wow. Okay, location on the edge and high pressure pushing storms away. You mentioned other elements too.
Yes, there's one more crucial piece, this time from the ocean, the Canary Current.
I've heard of that. It's cold, right?
It is. It's a cool current flowing down the western coast. And what it does is cool the air right above the water. This makes the lower atmosphere more stable. It suppresses the rising air needed to form big rain clouds.
So the cold water literally makes it harder for rain to form, like puts a lid on it.
In a way, yes. It acts like a natural dampener on precipitation, especially near the coast. It reduces the chances of heavy rain developing.
Okay, let me see if I've got this. It's like a perfect storm of, well, not having storms. You're on the edge of the main storm path, there are high-pressure shields pushing rain away, and the cold ocean current makes it harder for rain clouds to form properly.
That's a really good way to put it. It's this incredible interplay between geography, the atmosphere, and the ocean. It all comes together to create Morocco's distinctive and often surprisingly dry climate, even during its rainy season. Those rare floods happen, but day to day, the rain is limited.
Fascinating stuff. Really changes how you think about the weather there. So, bringing this back to the practical side for someone planning a trip, temperatures. What does this climate mean for how hot or cold it actually feels?
Right, the averages give us a starting point. The source says the overall average annual temperature for Morocco is around 17.5 degrees Celsius, which is about 63.5 Fahrenheit. But that's just an average across the whole year and whole country. The monthly averages swing quite a bit. You're looking at lows around 9.4 Celsius, that's roughly 49 Fahrenheit, in the coldest months, December and January, all the way up to 26 Celsius, around 79 Fahrenheit, in July and August. And those are just averages. Peak highs can be much hotter.
That's a pretty big range. And I guess where you are in Morocco makes a massive difference too. The source highlights that, right?
Absolutely crucial. It specifically mentions that summer can be extremely hot, especially in cities like Marrakech and Fez.
Yeah, I can imagine. Exploring those Medinas in August must be intense. We're talking serious heat.
Oh, definitely. Temperatures can easily soar into the 40s Celsius. That's well over 100 Fahrenheit. Dry heat, but still very intense. You'll be wanting shade, water, maybe a siesta.
Good to know. Plan accordingly for summer city trips. What about winter?
Conversely, the source notes winter is cold in the mountains, but moderate along the coast. So if you're thinking of trekking in the Atlas Mountains in January, pack warm layers. It can be properly cold. Snow is common at altitude.
But down by the sea, say Agadir.
It can be quite pleasant. Moderate, mild temperatures. Maybe not swimming weather for everyone, but certainly comfortable for relaxing outdoors.
So this really underlines the need to think about where you're going and when, not just picking spring or fall blindly.
Exactly. This understanding, it empowers you, the traveler. It lets you tailor your trip. If you dream of hiking in the mountains, spring and fall are probably best for comfortable temperatures.
Right. Avoid the summer heat and the winter cold up high.
But if you want to explore Marrakech or Fez, again, spring and fall help you avoid that really intense summer heat.
Makes sense.
But maybe you want a winter getaway. Then those mild coastal cities become a fantastic option. See, it allows for strategic planning based on what you want to do.
It's about matching your activities to the regional climate reality for that time of year. Sahara in summer, probably not ideal. Coast in winter, could be lovely.
Precisely. Knowing these variations lets you customize your Moroccan experience way beyond just the generic advice.
Okay, so we've really unpacked a lot here. We started with the golden window, spring and fall. But then we dove into why, looking at that Mediterranean climate, the surprisingly limited rainfall due to location, high pressure, that Canary Current, and finally, how temperatures swing wildly depending on season and region, blistering heat in summer cities, cold mountains in winter, but milder coasts.
Exactly. And having this deeper understanding, it's not just about picking dates. It gives you a real appreciation for Morocco's environment.
Yeah.
Like we said, knowledge is most valuable when you can apply it. And now you really have the tools to plan a trip that works with Morocco's climate, not against it.
For a much better experience overall, I imagine. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Morocco's weather and best travel times. And as you mull all this over, how these specific forces shape the climate, the rain, the heat, the regional differences, here's a final thought for you to consider. Given how much the climate is dictated by these natural factors, the ocean currents, the atmospheric patterns, the geography, how might that interplay have subtly shaped other aspects of Morocco over the centuries? Think about its architecture, maybe. Courtyards for shade, building materials, or its agriculture, what grows where and when, or even just the rhythm of daily life. It offers a completely different lens for looking at that incredible landscape when you visit. Something to think about. We hope this has helped you plan, or maybe just dream about, your own Moroccan adventure.